Welcome to the Sunday morning meditation service. The word for today is I live an abundant life. My true wealth lies in my consciousness, my ability to give and receive love, to share what I have and receive from others with equal joy, to understand and use the creative power of thought, and to know myself and all people as living expressions of the divine. I live consciously and abundantly, making wise use of the earth's resources and drawing upon a limitless storehouse of divine ideas. So we're going to do a call and response chant, and I'm going to call, and I hope you respond. Okay. You are in the wind, in each twinkling star. Let's start again. You are in the wind, in each twinkling star. You are all around me. You are never far. And my soul keeps singing. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. You are in the desert. You are in the sea. Dancing in the grasses. Whispering in each tree. And my soul keeps singing. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. You are in the mountains, laughing in each brook. You are peeping at me. Everywhere I look, and my soul keeps singing. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. I can feel your presence everywhere I look. I can feel you smiling everywhere I look. And my soul keeps singing. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. You are in the sun, in each flower's bloom. You are in my heart, in this very room. And my soul keeps singing. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Oh, divine, all I want is you. Is you. Is you.
Good morning, everyone. What is the highest and most rewarding success in life? Master Eckhart Tolle would answer that question. The highest, most rewarding success in life is a successful now moment. A successful now moment. So totally focused is his perspective on divine awareness. In any case, to understand that truth, one would have to be God conscious, already enlightened, because that truth is so far removed from our everyday thinking and our everyday experience of life. Nevertheless, it exists as a stepping stone into the highest level of awareness. An enlightened person would also have grasped this life-healing yoga. Can we have this first PowerPoint? The Master's Now Moment Yoga. Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. This is, of course, easier said than done. And possibly it's easier said than done today. It may be more difficult than in any other period of human experience, because of the focus of the media and the incredible amount of diversion, that comes to us through social media, through the regular media, through all the media, through the movies, the televisions, the radios. And so much of that is aimed at igniting one's adrenaline. If you take an objective look at the news as it's presented, you pick up the fact that in order to keep us tuning in and watching it, it seems to want to ignite our adrenaline, negative emotions about, wow, how can they do this or do that? And I think underneath all of that is the fact that we stand in a higher, more righteous position than all the seeming evil that occurs in the world. And yet the talking heads need your attention so that they can make the money they make doing the shows they do. And that's it. There's one politician in particular that knows the truth of this. He doesn't know the truth of very much else, but he does know the truth of this. While other politicians seem to want to campaign for a brighter future, a smarter future, etc., there's one that is forever looking to find something he can label his opponent with that will get people's adrenaline going. And that's unfortunate, but that's the way it is today. So, to hear no evil, to speak no evil, to see no evil. I changed this a little bit. I'm not sure they're in that particular alignment, the way they're given. But I think it's truthful that if you are willing to hear no evil, that is, not willing to take it in, and not willing to see any evil, not willing to take that in. No, actually, not willing to hear the evil, not willing to speak the evil, you will not see the evil. If the first part of this talk was really so focused, it would be difficult to understand it unless one was already God conscious. That which I just said is probably even more refined. To hear no evil, to speak no evil, is then to see no evil. Because there exists a dimension of awareness in human consciousness where one actually sees beyond the limited perspective of the conflicted human experience, sees beyond it. Can you imagine being able to do that? That's God consciousness. That's knowing that this divine intelligence will draw even the most limited thinking being eventually into his divine awareness. Even the most limited thinking being will ultimately have to enter into the divine one awareness of God as love, which brings healing peace to the mind and healing peace to all relationships. That's all religion there is. That's all there is. I mean, the rest of it is just as part of the convoluted thinking of human beings who are unenlightened, never had a real moment in the awareness of the presence of God, but seem to think that God is somehow still this material, financial well-being. And it is not. You know, just recently, I don't watch very much television. Maybe 4 to 5 hours a night. But there's a commercial on television which I caught. A company is advertising that they will clean your house, your entire house, from top to bottom, counters, carpets, dishes, even do your laundry, for $19. Now that is an extraordinarily good deal. But there's a better deal that's given to us from the master White Eagle, who gives us this deal. And this is a deal. You have this next PowerPoint, please? You can read this in his book, The Quiet Mind, page 34, paragraph 2. You can purify your own physical atoms by right thinking, right speech, right action, right living, judging no one, then imperceptibly will come a raising of your consciousness, a happiness of which you have not dreamed, and a gracious and gentle power will grow within you, which will make all crooked places straight, and which will open your prison doors. Can we take this back again, please? This is spoken from the highest awareness of God consciousness. In other words, this again, you could say, it's all the religion anyone would actually need to embrace. You can purify your own physical atoms by right thinking, right speech, right action, right living, judging no one, then imperceptibly will come a raising of your consciousness, a happiness of which you have not dreamed, and a gracious and gentle power will grow within you, which will make all crooked places straight, and which will open your prison doors. And while most people don't think they are in prison, most people who have not actually taken to task their own awareness and found it so wanting, they've had to turn it over. Had to what? Had to turn their awareness over to a refined faith feeling, allowing that possibility that there actually exists a universal creator that knows the numbers of the hairs on your head, and knows when a sparrow falls from a bough. That magnificence exists. But to enter into a relationship with it requires this real difficult step away from the accepted illusions of human awareness. Could you step away from the thinking of the world? And how long can you step away from the thinking of the world? But at some point, if you do, by taking to task your own awareness, you will have something enter into you. That presence itself will come unto you and lead you and guide you and inspire you to finish the journey, to become one, and then finally enter this higher dimension of perception and see the majesty and the miracle of life itself, even everything you see around you. And you can only see that when you know that in the end, everyone will have to come into this awareness. Will have to come by virtue of the fact they will not be forced. Only their limited thinking will continually take them to that place of limitation and depression and fear and concern long enough that they will know they have to step away from it by faith and feeling their way into it by doing the spiritual practice. But the promise is in what White Eagle says. A power will come into you. The first part is by the volition of the person. You will attempt to speak justly, rightly, truthfully, and do the things you will express right action. And you'll do that. But if you do that consistently, the most amazing thing will happen. You will have the presence. And let me put it this way. The benevolent kidnapper will take over your consciousness. And I know people have a problem with that definition of the benevolent kidnapper. Because they say, well, kidnapping is kind of a negative thing. People are really opposed to the idea that you're defining Christ as some kind of kidnapper. But I'm not doing that lightly, by the way. What did we suppose when Jesus said, what did you go out to the wilderness to see? Come on, you left your fine homes, you left all the brocoded, the drapes and the furniture and all that good food. You left it all, you went out to the wilderness. Why did you go out there to see John, who's living on locusts, living on a cave? Why did you go out to see him? Because there's something still missing in your experience. And so, what do you think the benevolent kidnapper does? He does exactly that. He takes over what you would not be able to surrender yourself. And so, it is a process that is not all beer and roses. It's a process where the most difficult things that we harbor in our awareness are up to be transformed. And I sometimes use this analogy. We had when I went to school, we had an ex-priest who was going to school to become a Unity minister. And his name was Brandon. And Brandon made a really nifty living refinishing furniture. He had an eye for going to, junk stores and old, garage sales. He'd just go around and he could see a piece of furniture that was, in his own mind, could be very valuable. And he would finish the furniture. But in order to finish it, he would have to use this caustic stuff. You've seen it, and maybe you've used it yourself. To take off all the old layers of paint, you have to use this caustic solution that just burns it off practically. Then you have to wipe it off and do that. Then you have to sand it so many times. But he would see a piece of furniture that was worth that kind of effort. And when he was finished and then finally cleaned it off completely and stained it, he would sell it at really a good price, way, way, way more than he ever paid for it. And that's what he did to support himself, and he supported himself pretty lavishly. But I use that as an example on the outside of what the mind goes through in the purification process of the benevolent kidnapper. Because this benevolent kidnapper then is the power that White Eagle says comes within you, that will bring you to be able to pause, listen to what happens to us, to be able to pause when negative thoughts are generating negative emotions and grievances are coming to mind, because all grievances literally eliminate love. They eliminate God. They eliminate peace. They eliminate truth. So we need this power to come within us to say, no, I don't want to entertain this anymore. I don't want to live in the world of conflict and fear and blame and vengeance. I don't want that. But that can only happen because the benevolent kidnapper has come into you and made you courageous enough to step beyond, in faith, beyond your everyday thinking, what you've been willing to allow yourself to think and do and be. That's what the spiritual journey is all about. And I'll tell you that it's not easy. I'm not saying that when you arrive in this higher state of awareness, that you don't see the evils of human beings. What I'm saying is that you see that they are operating in total disregard to their own well-being, their own connection with divine presence and love. And that is painful to the mind, even though the mind thinks it wants to continue to be right, to be vengeful, to get even. The mind eventually will realize, no, I have to transcend the thinking that is against love. So I'll tell you, it's out there, especially today when I talk about this world in which we find ourselves. We are evolving, by the way. But we are evolving within. There's a lot of people that are evolving within. Outwardly, we still have the masses carrying on in their insanity. But we are evolving because, as Eckhart Tolle says, and he is the master of modern awareness. Eckhart Tolle says, when you are aware of the fact that you are involved in negative thinking, and emotions, you are already moving toward enlightenment. Instead of just having it come through you as it usually did, where you took it for granted, this is the way life is, this is how I do it, but you now are at least aware, I am really entertaining negative feelings and emotions. At least you're waking up. It's the beginning of awakening. And eventually, you will take to task that thinking. And then you will choose peace. And you'll choose truth. And then this power comes over you to bring you to this higher level of awareness, which is not easy, because a lot of the things we hold as being just and right and true are simply not there for us to judge. We don't have the ability to do it. We don't have the capacity to judge. And when we get to that place where we're in this higher state of consciousness, then there is this awareness that everything, even in its most limited definition, in its most limited expression, everything is sacred and worthy of consideration, forgiveness, and peace. So, Edgar Cayce put the whole spiritual journey pretty simply. This is Edgar Cayce, direct quote. My friend reminded me of this the other day. Spirit is the life, mind is the builder, the physical is the result. That's pure Cayce. In short, one can define the spiritual journey as a daily practice of the now presence of God. And in that now presence of God, we are in the process of removing all grievances that block love. All grievances that block honest consideration, forgiveness, and peace. So, in the now moment, we have entered into a relationship with life in which our attention is so on the moment now that it appears to us to be a sacred moment. And what we do in that moment is insightful and sacred. It answers whatever the moment requires. But to get there, it takes practice. It takes wanting to do right speaking, right action, right thinking. And that will bring us into that higher level of consciousness we refer to as the kingdom of God. And it's more wisely referred to as the consciousness of God. So, I know these days we are running into an overt effort by the illusion-driven human consciousness to ignore the truth, to ignore the reality of this divine intelligence and love. But as we take to task our own awareness and we alleviate ourselves of buying into that, that is, we're not allowing ourselves, it's pretty simple yoga, to hear no evil, speak no evil, and therefore see no evil. Sometimes I give that lesson as someone discovering a carved out diamond that has the three monkeys in it. And the person is forever trying to find the material value of that diamond, when the real value of it is in the message it is presenting. To hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. Well, it seems that what is taking place in the world can only be resolved when enough people recognize the truth of our interconnectedness, our oneness, and thereby add the faith needed by others to their abilities to take to task their own awareness. We do that. That's our calling, to do that. And we do it by choosing peace, the measure of spiritual awakening is peace. I know this is hard for you to take because most of you have never had an enlightened dog. But I have an enlightened dog. And he's an amazing creature who's demonstrating God consciousness all the time. And just last night, there was a big black bear headed for our deck. And he was out in the dog run, barking, really powerfully barking at this bear. And I watched an interesting take place. The bear actually paused to consider whether or not he wanted to go forward and get on our deck, where many, many, many months ago, it used to be able to have a dish of seeds and take down the hummingbird feeder. And it paused to consider whether or not it wants to deal with this creature that is barking away, and how much freedom does that creature actually have? Is that creature on the deck? But Teton continued until the bear finally decided, no, it's not worth it, and turned away and then walked off into the wilderness. And then I brought Teton into the house, and he immediately cooled down, was friendly, and wanted to play. I mean, a complete shift. It was only like a minute or two that he came into the house, he grabbed one of his toys, and he shakes it at me because he wants me to do tug of war with him. So he wanted to play immediately after chasing this bear into the wilderness. And we need to find our way to be able to do the same thing. We have these moments where we have negative thoughts and emotions and feelings, and yet we have to be able to pause, know that we really would rather have a peace of mind, a feeling of divine love. And finally, I'm going to conclude this talk with this truth. Course in Miracles says that every step you have ever taken has been in the purview or the awareness of the intelligence which gives you life. It's aware of you and the steps you take. And it's calling you to this new level of consciousness. So that the now philosophy that Eckhart Tolle espouses is saying, as you go through life in every moment, you can actually be in the experience of love and divine peace as you're going through every experience, because you're experiencing it as being one with the grand intelligence and love, which is God. We're going to take a few minutes to meditate together. If you were stranded on an island where you may never be found, and maybe you never have any books, the only thing you would need to find true happiness would be this ideal, which you're going to share in meditation right now. So just take a couple of deep breaths and be open to embrace this truth. Couple of deep breaths, release your breath, release any pressing concerns that you may have brought with you. They're only pressing because you're not quite awake yet. That's the only reason why. So if they're pressing, just let them go for these few moments and embrace the ideal. We're using the name of God given to Moses. I am. I am they. I am he. I am you. I am she. Everything you think of me. Everything you do to me. Be still and know that I am God. I am they. I am she. I am you. I am he. I am the mountains, the forests, the rivers, the stars, and the sea. Everything you think of me. Everything you do to me. Be still and know that I am God. I am they, all of them upon which you look. I am he. I am you. I am she. I am the mountains, the forests, the deserts, and the sea. Everything you think of me. Everything you do to me. Be still and know that I am the only God. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space, let us go forth with a greater devotion to our spiritual practice in every moment. For this opportunity in every moment, we give thanks. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. While we're preparing to do this, I'd like to remind those of you that are watching this live stream that you can scroll down to the place on the screen that says donate. It'll give you different ways you can donate immediately. It'll even give you a Venmo code and a PayPal code. And those of you that are sitting here, we have that Venmo code and PayPal code also in the lobby. But do donate. It'll open you up. It'll bring you more light if you decide to give to that which has given to you. And as we bring our gifts into our hands, let's bless them with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. Ishkala mabudlila, Ishkala mabudlila, Ishkala mabudlila, Ishkala mabudlila. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth, the Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen. Do we have any particular events coming up this week?
The gift store is open and we have refreshments in Fellowship Hall.
Yes, we have refreshments in Fellowship Hall through these doors to your right. If you'd like to stay and chat, ask some questions about today's service or unity in general, we just go over and do a general sharing. And there'll be some chairs set up in there that you can get some refreshments and be seated. And I'll be over there in about 7 minutes. So, everyone, have an awakened day.